So now we are seeing the relations of knee joint, right? Hope you all can hear me. Imad?
Yes, ma'am.
The relations you can see front, we are finding only ligamentum patellae. If you remember the boundaries of popliteal fossa, what are the boundaries behind semiomedially? Semimembranosus, semitendinosus, isn't it? Then medial head of gastrocnemius. Apart from that, you are also finding gracilis. Okay, so this is posterior medial. Posterior laterally, we have tendon of biceps. Common peroneal, we have plantaris, lateral head of gastrocnemius. Okay. Most posteriorly in the midline, we are finding oblique popliteal ligament, we are finding popliteal vessels, and tibial nerve. Okay. Just look at this picture, you will be able to write whatever relations are here. Okay. Front quadriceps tendons. Anteromedial, these are only extensions of fibrous capsule. Medial patellar retinaculum, anterolateral, lateral patellar retinaculum, posterior medial, sartorius gracilis, semitendinosus, semitendinosus. Posterior lateral biceps. Just remember the boundaries of popliteal. Biceps is common to the behind. That means front end of popliteal vessel. That is popliteal vessels, tibial nerve. Okay, and you will find plantaris. So now let us see what are the various bursae we have surrounding the knee joint. Now see, this is the ligamentum patellae. Suppose we know the fibrous capsule is deficient because it has a passage to one of the bursa, that is suprapatellar bursa. Okay, subcutaneous prepatella between the skin and anterior surface of patella, this one, right in front of patella. Subcutaneous prepatella between the skin and over the anterior surface of patella. That first projection. Then subcutaneous infrapatellar, that is below patella, between the skin and the tibial tuberosity. Then deep infrapatellar, patellar, like behind the patellar ligament and anterior surface of the upper end of the tibia here. Then we have suprapatellar, like behind the tendon of quadriceps femoris and in front of the lower end of the femur. Okay. So apart from that, you are also finding at the level of semimembranosus, the posterior aspect of the upper end of the tibia receives the insertion of semimembranosus. There also you have a bursa. Okay, we have that gyrops muscle, isn't it? So here, between the gracilis, semitendinosus and sartorius, again there will be a bursa, which is called as pes anserinus or subsartorial bursa. Okay, in order to prevent the friction of tendons one over the other, so you will have a bursae intervening between the tendons of all these three muscles. Okay. Now, so housemaid's bursa, so like prepatellar in the sense right in front of the patella, subcutaneous prepatellar, this one. So housemaid's knee, so swollen subcutaneous prepatellar bursa in housemaid's is due to washing of floor by adopting this position. Okay, nail long position. So clergyman's bursa, swollen subcutaneous infrapatellar. Based on which area is involved, you are finding that particular area may be crushed and there may be infection. Okay. So these are the other various bursae between lateral head of the gastrocnemius and capsule, between the tendon of biceps femoris and fibular collateral ligament. Also, we may find bursae between fibular collateral ligament and tendon of popliteus. All these are to give just protection, prevent friction, and give lubrication between lateral condyle of tibia and tendon of popliteus. Okay. So medially, we also have like between the medial head of the gastrocnemius and fibrous capsule. We call it as Brodie's bursa. Between gyropes, we have anserine bursa. Sometimes anserine bursa may come for 3 months. Between the 3 gyropes, sartorius, gracilis, and semitendinosus. Okay, between the superficial and deep part of tibial collateral ligament also we may have a bursa. Okay, between semimembranosus and medial condyle of the tibia also we may have a bursa. Okay, like that we have so many bursae around knee joint because this is very much superficial superficial and it may be involved in many movements. What we do. So Baker's cyst. So Baker's cyst is chronic inflammation of bursa deep to semi-membranosus. May present as cystic swelling. This I discussed when I was doing popliteal fossa also, Baker's cyst. Okay. So bursa deep to semi-membranosus may present as cystic swelling. That means this is seen somewhere something like in popliteal fossa. Okay, medial part of the popliteal fossa. Okay. So that is Baker's cyst. Treatment we don't require. Now coming to blood supply, you just need to remember the blood vessels which are taking part in the anastomosis around knee joint. What is the name of this artery which is continuing from femoral?
Popliteal.
Tell me the names, branches. Superior, medial,
Superior
genicular,
medial, superior lateral, inferior medial, inferior lateral genicular arteries, and middle genicular.
What are the terminal branches you have?
Uh, terminal branches are anterior and posterior tibial.
So you just try to remember these branches. Okay. So that means these are the arteries. So we have one genicular branch coming from femoral, recurrent branch from anterior apart from this genicular arteries. So what are the duplicate fossa? What are the sciatic nerve? So it's dividing into these tibial and common pyramid. This is tibial. This is common pyramid. Isn't it? So we have apart from that the nerves which are supplying the knee joint are femoral and obturator. I told you these nerves like femoral obturator were also supplying the hip joint. That's the reason there is any pain in the hip joint, it is also referred to knee joint, referred pain. There it has come. So coming to what are the various movements we have. So see, flexion. You can see this is the flexion movement. So what are the various muscles involved? Biceps femoris, semitendinosus, semimembranosus, gracilis, sartorius and obliques. Okay. Then extension, quadriceps femoris, extension of knee. Then we have external rotation, something like this, okay, which is brought about by biceps femoris. Then internal rotation, sartorius, gracilis, semitendinosus, popliteus and semimembranous. All muscles and movements is also part of recitation, so you need to remember. Now, actually, these movements are also important, like sequence of movements from full flexion to full extension. So in extreme flexion, so something like this, complete flexion, the convex posterior part of the femoral condyles rests on the posterior horns of the meniscus, medial and lateral meniscus. So gradually, if you see, these condyles of the femurs are now moving forwards. Okay, as extension starts. That means, so this was which movement? First I said flexion. Then gradually when you are moving to this extension position, what is happening? Femoral condyles roll forwards on the upper surface of both menisci. So forward movements of transverse axis is arrested by posterior part of capsule. That means it is the capsule is not allowing that movement. Okay, so it is not allowing this condyles to come back. The posterior cruciate ligament also will avoid it. Oblique popliteus. These are all things which are not letting the condyles to come backwards. That means they are facilitating the movement from flexion. It is now moving towards extension. From behind, it is now moving forwards. Okay, and these are the factors which are preventing these condyles from moving behind. What are those factors preventing? Posterior part of capsule, posterior cruciate ligament and oblique popliteal ligament. Okay, so femoral condyles will spin forwards around fixed transverse axis. These are the movements which you have started from flexion. Now you are moving towards extension. Okay, so gradually the condyles, now this is the tibial tuberosity. You can see the condyles have rolled gradually anteriorly and now they are more congruent and more closely situated towards the anterior horns of the meniscus. Okay, that is like that you try to understand. Okay, actually unlocking is important only. So now see along the, because unlocking itself may be as under movements of knee joint. So what is this unlocking? Which muscle? While describing popliteus also I told you. Unlocking is initiated by popliteus. And okay, what else? So now you see we are now coming to the some applied aspects. So there is one Q angle like this. So how is it formed? Like you have to take one line starting from anterior superior iliac spine, then the trochanterus of the femur, intercondylar area, and the tibial tuberosity. From there, and if you draw one line which is moving towards the medial side of the thigh, if you just take this angle, this is actually called as Q angle. Okay. Now, based on this, see the femur is placed diagonally. This is what is described here. The genu valgum and verum are the two types of deformity. Q angle is verum means the angle becomes more, typically greater in adult females. So if it is further increased, you call it as verum. If it is reduced, you call it as valgum. Okay, just two names. Next we have, this is patella. So patellar dislocation, that means like in an outward movement when the person is like in athletes and all, when you will see they are using this joint more, knee joint, sometimes the patella also may get dislocated. So many are given, so many are not required. So patellar fractures, you can see here different types of fractures. Okay, patellofemoral syndrome. That means if there is any infection because of this abuse of this joint, then there may be pain along the patella and the condyles of the femur, which is the patellofemoral syndrome. Osteoarthritis is actually very important. See, this is the articular cartilage which is lining the lower end of the femur. This is the fibrocartilage lining the upper end of the tibia. Suppose if it gets degenerated, meniscofemoral compartment length is reduced. Meniscotibial compartment length also will be reduced. So, space between the joint has been reduced because of the degeneration of articular cartilage. Whatever nerves which are supplying this cartilage, they will just come directly and they rub over the bones, because of which there will be severe pain in the, like along the distribution. So now osteoarthritis is quite common in old people, isn't it? So that is degenerative wear and tear of articular cartilages. Because this is weight bearing joint. Okay, the knee joint is commonly involved in osteoarthritis. Movements become painful, they become limited, and they produce grating. That means sound. Sound will be heard. So a radiograph, you will see osteophytes. So that means like regenerating cells, they are trying to regenerate. So those are the osteophytes which may be seen. Okay, peripheral lipping of the articular ends in case of osteoarthritis. So different types of tears may be like seen in case of menisci. So there may be vertical tear in the menisci, bucket handle tear, transverse tear, and there may be degeneration of these menisci, medial and lateral menisci. Anything can be torn. Similarly, these anterior and posterior cruciate ligaments also may be ruptured. Okay, so those are the injuries of anterior and posterior cruciate ligaments. Okay, just name them. We did not go much into detail. Generally, we do aspiration of knee joint when we are suspecting some infection and also if we are suspecting some carcinoma, like cancer. Okay, osteomas. We can also give injections. Generally, corticosteroids are injected over here in case of severe pain. Okay, and sometimes a lubricant which is almost like synovial fluid is also injected to increase the mobility of this joint and to reduce the pain. Okay, so knee arthroscopy is a technique like in order to see the interior, like if there is any space reduction or if there is any degeneration of cartilage or if there is any rupture of cruciate ligament or meniscal tear, everything can be viewed with the help of knee arthroscopy. Okay. So knee replacement surgeries are quite popular nowadays. So wherever you find the degeneration like this, generally we replace artificial joints, where you will see the artificial component consisting of plastic tibial component and metal femoral component is connected to tibial and femoral bones. After the removal of these damaged areas, it will be replaced. Okay, that is knee replacement surgery. And see, sometimes it may be asked for 3 marks, unhappy triad of knee joint. So three injuries are occurring. Medial knee, what do we have? Tibial collateral ligament, medial meniscus, and anterior end of the cruciate ligament. Okay, so if this is wrong, so that's what is called as unhappy triad of knee joint. Okay, hope you understood. It's a very, very
Yes,
important
ma'am.
topic.